Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, President Buhari directs security chiefs to scale up operations to effectively tackle the attacks and killings across the country. Gunmen kill 3 security personnel and a civilian at an oil exploration site in River State as police confirm attack by suspected insurgents on Mainland village in Borno State. Court orders EFCC to stop further investigations into the finances of the Benue State government pending the determination of the suit challenging the action. And Muslim faithful from Nigeria and 164 other countries gather at Arafat in Saudi Arabia on the first day of the annual Hajj pilgrimage ahead of tomorrow's Feast of Sacrifice.
On business news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari signs Instrument of Ascension to the International Cocoa Agreement 2010 following approval by the Federal Executive Council.
And on sports news tonight, World Football Governing Body FIFA suspends its plan to ban Nigeria from all football activities as the country beats the deadline to restore sanity in the country's football house.
Ahead of tomorrow's Eid-al-Kabir celebrations, prices of ram soar as traders in Abuja complain of low patronage.
We begin tonight with the President's directive that security be tightened across the country. President Buhari was speaking to the nation's service chiefs at the Security Council meeting held at the presidential villa in Abuja. At the end of the meeting, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishakin, says the meeting reviewed the security situation across the country with a mandate from the President to scale up operations to make Nigeria safe and secure.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrives to preside over a Security Council meeting in his first official assignment since the return from a 10-day vacation in London. Apart from the security chiefs, the meeting had in attendance the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, and the Chief of Staff to the President, Alhaji Abba Kyari. The meeting, which started around 11:30 a.m. and lasted for 2.5 hours, reviewed the current security situation in the country.
We have seen that a lot of improvement on the security situation in the country, more especially in Zamfara and Benue states. If you go along the Niger Delta, also the same thing. But in the northeast, we are having worrisome report, which we looked into critically and we are taking also a decision on it.
We made all our comments, especially the new operations in Benue, Zamfara, and of course Taraba. Operation White Stroke and Operation Sharandaji. We gave him the extent of successes in this operation, and we are to continue on those line of actions in this operation. As it were, all the operations were reviewed and all the issues concerning the operations were mentioned.
The meeting also took key decisions on the security situation in the country.
He directed that we continue to step up our game to ensure that the nation is safe and people go about their daily activities in a very safe environment.
The President left the meeting for his hometown in Daura, Katsina State, where he's expected to celebrate this year's Eid-al-Kabir.
And while in Daura, the President has a Salah message for Nigerians. He wants everyone to rise above personal, group, sectarian and other interests and promote harmony and tolerance in dealing with one another at all times. The President is also asking Muslims in Nigeria to use the occasion for sober reflection, self-examination and strive to be good ambassadors of their religion by upholding high moral values. He regretted that selfishness, greed and corruption have overwhelmed human souls to the extent that people abandon their religious faiths in pursuit of their greed. The President says, quote, "Fighting corruption is a task that must be done in order to protect the larger interests of the ordinary Nigerians who are the worst victims of diseases, poverty, malnutrition and other afflictions. Even if some people hate you for fighting corruption, you should not chicken out from the task as a leader, because doing so is betrayal of public trust." End of quote. He said surrendering to corruption is not an option because it destroys society and the progress of nations. Police authorities in Borno State have confirmed an attack on Mainland village in Guzama local government area of Borno State by Boko Haram insurgents. The Borno State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Damian Chukwu, says the insurgents burnt down at least 40 houses, but is yet to confirm the death toll. Eyewitnesses, however, told Channels Television that no fewer than 19 people were killed in the attack. Mainland is one of the few villages in Guzama local government area where civil authority has been restored and residents are returning home based on the assurance of safety given to them by security agencies. Mr. Chukwu also confirmed an attack by suspected Boko Haram militants on Alao Dam on Saturday night, where a heavy pipe was damaged, leading to flooding.
Reports have it that the vigilante in that community arrested a Boko Haram element with an AK-47 rifle. And after giving him the beating of his life, he was handed over to the military. So it's like the Boko Haram naturally are not happy with the development, and they started to, even passing through so many villages and communities, they went straight to that place to strike. But unfortunately for them, our PMF men were there, the conventional men were there, the SAS was there, and they jointly repelled them in a matter of minutes. Although a few casualties were recorded, but I'm sure, if not for the presence of the present and prompt action of our policemen in that place, they would have brought down the entire community.
And staying with security matters, army authorities say troops of the military operation codenamed Operation Whirlstroke have killed 21 armed bandits along the Banjimba-Akor-Tomata axis of Guma local government area of Benue State in the last 3 weeks. The herdsmen were reportedly killed in 2 separate operations between August the 4th and the 18th. According to the force commander of OPWS, Major General Adeyomo Yakini, the armed bandits were among a group of 20 others riding on motorcycles and moving along the Guma axis towards Nasarawa State. The bandits had allegedly engaged in an exchange of fire for about 2 hours with troops of the OPWS in Guma on Saturday, during which 1 soldier was killed and 2 others injured. Major General Yakini explains that the casualty figure during the initial encounter could not be ascertained, and that while the fighting was on, an Mi-35 helicopter that was dispatched to provide air support for the troops sighted the armed herdsmen on motorcycles. And 4 persons, including a police officer, 2 soldiers and 1 other, have been shot dead by gunmen today in Aburua local government area of Rivers State. The Rivers State Police Public Relations Officer Nnamdi Omoni told Channels Television that the assailants ambushed the men and opened fire on them before they could retaliate. The slain security officers were attached to an oil firm operating in the state.
I can confirm the incident. It happened today where unknown gunmen ambushed a team of officers, the policeman and the soldier were killed, including the driver of the vehicle that was carrying them. The 2 of them were fatally wounded, and then they made an attempt to kidnap the 2 expatriates that were with them, but our men foiled that attempt. So our men have taken over the bushes to ensure that the perpetrators are arrested and brought to justice. The CP is discussing with the authorities of the Air Force, at that strategic level to see how they can also come in hand, including the Marine and the Navy personnel that they can assist us, because the place is also the community administration in water, so if they can be of assistance. However, our men are already there on ground. Our foot soldiers, our tactical units are there, combing the bushes and the waterways.
In security matters elsewhere, the traditional ruler of Odoro Ekiti, a community in Ikole local government area of Ekiti State, has been killed. The monarch, Oba Gbadebo Ogunshakin, was stabbed to death by a man suspected to be mentally challenged while attempting to get into his vehicle after a meeting of the town's traditional council. The killer is also said to be from the same royal family as the slain traditional ruler. Channels Television gathered that some angry youths in the community took to the streets in search of the killer, who is said to have fled into the bush after the incident. Police authorities in Ekiti have confirmed the story, saying efforts are ongoing to track down the suspected killer. Let's take a look at some legal matters. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Paul Usoro, has been elected as the national president of the Nigeria Bar Association. According to the election results presented by the chairman of the NBA Electoral Committee, Mr. Usoro polled 4,509 votes to edge out Mr. Okafor Obi, who scored 4,423 votes. Mr. Ernest Ojukwu polled 3,313 votes in third place. The outgoing president of the association, Mr. Abubakar Mahmood, commended the process, describing the 2018 election as the fairest so far. Staying with legal matters now, a federal high court sitting in Abuja has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to stop further investigations into the finances of the Benue State government, pending the hearing and determination of the suit filed by the state challenging the actions of the anti-graft agency. Although all the parties were represented in court by their counsel, the vacation judge, Justice Nnamdi Dingba, insists that he needs to study the case file as it was coming to him for the first time. Justice Dingba subsequently adjourned hearing of the suit to August the 29th after issuing a preservative order warning all the parties to desist from taking further steps that would affect the subject matter of the case before the court. The Attorney General of Benue State, through an originating summons, is challenging the powers of the EFCC to investigate or inquire into the accounts, appropriations, disbursements and administration of the funds of the Benue State government. The lawyer to the Benue State government, Emeka Etiaba, applauds the decision of the court. And barring any last-minute changes, the third Mainland Bridge will be closed from midnight on Thursday, August the 23rd, for 3 days. According to the Federal Comptroller Works Southwest, Mr. Adedamola Kuti, the closure will allow engineers carry out a comprehensive test on the bridge. The actual repair work on the bridge will start later in the year. Our correspondent, Olu Phillips, reports.
These were the real reasons why the initial planned closure date of the third Mainland Bridge was not carried out, following several reports by Channels TV on the dire consequences in an event the congestion subsisted. A presidential martial order followed, reprieve was experienced, and after deferring to your concerns as it was raised and how it affected commuting, a new date will be effected this week for the temporal closure.
The Federal Executive Council has approved the maintenance work on this all-important infrastructure in Lagos. And as a result of that, we are starting with an investigative maintenance test. You see, what we are starting on is just to carry out a kind of a maintenance test. That one is more of engineering, and the closure will be for 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's Friday 24th of August through Sunday 26th August.
Relevant traffic agencies and other stakeholders have been meeting to find soothing conditions for motorists and, by extension, the proper work period later in the year.
While this is going to be a total closure, the bridge will be closed totally. During the period of maintenance work, it will be partial closure. We only close the sections of the bridge you are working on. So we don't expect any chaotic situation by then. So that's why this is going to be total closure. The other one will be partial closure.
So come Thursday this week, midnight of Thursday this week, this bridge will be shut down and be reopened on Monday from 1 a.m. So throughout the day and Thursday, the bridge will be available for your use. It will also be available for the Monday rush for those of you who are concerned about work. From the 3rd Mainland Bridge, Olu Phillips reporting for Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, more on the closure of the bridge. I'll be joined by the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Kehinde Bamigbeto. That's in a moment. Do join us again.